Miami University maintains a strong reciprocal relationship with the Miami Tribe of Oklahoma. Our land acknowledgement exists to reaffirm the Miami deep connection to their homelands and our commitment to each other.
The specific wording in Miami University's land acknowledgement is a result of an intentional,
collaborative process with the Leonard Center and with review and approval from the Miami Tribe of Oklahoma. As we begin, we'd like to share this land acknowledgement.
Miami University is located within the traditional homelands of the Miami and Shawnee people,
who, along with the other indigenous groups, ceded these lands to the United States in the first Treaty of Greenville in 1795.
The Miami people, whose name our land carries, were forcibly removed from these homelands in 1846.
In 1972, our relationship between Miami University and the Miami Tribe of Oklahoma began and evolved into a reciprocal partnership,
including the creation of the Leonard Theater at Miami University in 2001.
The work of the Leonard Center serves the Miami Tribe community and is dedicated to the revitalization of Miami language and culture and to restoring that knowledge to the Leonard people.
Miami University and the Miami Tribe are proud of this work and of the Miami students who have attended Miami since 1991 through the Miami Heritage Award Program.
Thank you so much for being here. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Audrey Boggs, and I've been serving as the WAAMU president of the Affinity Group for the last few years. And just before we start, we have a lot of great updates and a lot of great people to speak to you today. But I want to acknowledge first the WAAMU board, who's been helping over the last however many years to not only put this together, but to also grow and make sure that our community stays strong. So my notes are over here. I went old style and wrote them down because I don't want to forget anybody. I want to acknowledge Mike Lawfulman, who couldn't be with us today, but he served as president before me. And I did want to make sure that he got recognized because he's done amazing things for the WAAMU organization and kept us going for a long time. And unfortunately, he can't be here, but I want to make sure I acknowledge him. If I call your name and you feel comfortable to stand up so that people can have faces, that would be great. Katie Gibson, Laura Dobbins, Beth McNeely, Abigail Hills lives now in Australia and couldn't make it back. Eric Johnson and Beth Gibbons. Thank you so much for everything. Last but not least, Mark Mussman. I'm going to pass it over to him. He's going to MC today at 12:30 p.m. today. I will be passing the president reign over to him. So he's going to be the voice of the program today and introduce our first speaker.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for being here today. I'm really happy that you all took the time out of your busy schedules to come back to Western. And for those of you who this is your first time here, families and friends, welcome. We're so glad that you're all here with us today. We also want to thank Audrey for her work that she's done, her dedication, and all she has made this seamless transition for me. And if anyone else wants to be on the board, we're looking for a couple more board members. And we have a lot of ways for you all to connect with us and to plug in. So we're going to be passing around a kind of more informal WAAMU sign-up sheet for you. There's at the bottom of it, it gives you some letter codes of things you might be interested in if you want to be on the board. We definitely need your help with that. We're also going to be instituting some committee work because we have a lot of things to do, including fundraising, right? That's important. But also we are going to be looking at how do we continue the Western legacy into the future. And the only way that we can do that is with your help, with everyone's help in here. So today was a big step for you coming here, but in the future, we also want to make sure that we're connecting. So please go ahead and sign up on that sheet. If there's not enough space, you can turn it over and add more. We also sent it around yesterday, so if you signed it yesterday, you don't have to do that again. And we're going to hear from some speakers today to give you an idea about what the Western program's up to today. But one thing I want you to keep in mind is how are you going to plug in the future? So are you going to be working with students and sharing your talents and your expertise with them and mentoring and guiding them? Are you going to help us as we develop Western 4.0, as we look at the future? What does the future of higher education look like? We know that Western has always been at the forefront of higher education, so much, as you'll hear, that Miami has taken a lot of what we've done here in Western and added that to all of their student body. And so I want you to keep in mind how you can be a part of this as we move forward. And when we are going to be meeting and having our board meetings, we're going to do those on Zoom. And we want you to all feel comfortable to check those out in the future. So, be part of that as well. Pretty easy if you just want to watch us, but we also need your help because we can't do this alone. And so we are going to, do I have a list of who's going first? I don't know. All right, so Chris Pegroff is the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. And Chris has been a huge supporter of Western for a long time. We're very lucky that he has believed in the Western ethos and what we do here and how important that is for the rest of the university and the academy and the world at wide. So Chris, please feel free to come on up here and let us know.
Chris, if it's possible to get up on the stage, I'm having a hard time seeing you.
Are you insinuating?
We are going to try to hold questions to the very end because we think that each speaker is going to add a little bit more to what maybe questions will arise. So if you can wait till the very end, we will have question answer.
It's scary up here. I'm used to being down there wandering around. But thank you all for being here, for coming back. The excitement and the passion is really phenomenal. It's amazing. I was listening to the conversations last night, and it warmed my heart. So how many were here 5 years ago? Okay, so 5 years ago, I spoke and I told the group that it was my goal to try to unify the Western women and the Western College alumni so that we could ensure the legacy of Western. So their common threads have weaved through the Western women, Western College. Many of those have been usurped or borrowed and incorporated into the mainstream Miami, right? Our students now do 2 and 3 majors and minors. They do undergraduate research, they're publishing papers, they're doing international travel, study abroad, they're socially conscious. And so many of the things that made Western so special, even the living learning communities, right? So we have 2-year living learning communities. So all the things that made Western so special sort of were diffused throughout Miami, which you should be very proud of. But at the same time, it became to the point where what made Western special, and we were worried that the legacy of Western would disappear. So I've sort of taken it on since I've been dean to work with the Western women, to work with your colleagues, to try to find ways to continue to infuse Western throughout Miami University. And so 5 years ago, I came here and I pitched the idea of the Western Center for Social Impact and Innovation. It was a way to take and bring in speakers, to get students and faculty from other parts of the university to be part of Western and not have Western be isolated here on Western campus. And so the Western women, as you are going to hear, bought into this. It took some convincing on my part, but they've been some of my strongest supporters and advocates. And so I can tell you right now that it's worked. We've had over as you're going to hear from Jackie and Nick, 4,000 students participate in Western programming last year. The number of majors is up to, I think, over 80. We graduated 34, which is the largest number that we've graduated in, I think, decades, right? I mean, we've driven foot traffic here into Western, and it really is become integral throughout the university. The president supports it, the provost supports it, the board of trustees support it. You've got 2 of your alums that are on the board of trustees. So we have support all the way through Miami University. So what I'm coming here to tell you now is sort of my plan for the legacy of Western Part 2. And I only have 10 minutes. So, but I'm gonna hang around and I'll answer questions and we can talk more about it later on. But my goal going forward is now that we've got the Western Center for Social Impact funded and viable and living on in perpetuity, thanks to the Western women, what I want to do is to endow the director position. So I would like to endow a director position that would oversee the Western Center and individualized studies. So in doing that, we basically lock in Western and the legacy. We're gonna be able to recruit a national figure to come in, someone who is at an individualized studies program right now, who has experience in running those, to bring in, infuse new ideas, new excitement, and find ways, as Mark said, to look and see what is gonna be Western 4.0, right? Because we see how fast the world is changing. We know that we can't stand still. And so, you know, Michael and I built the program. Kurt Ellison brought it together and kept it going. I am nowhere in their league, but as a dean, right, it's different for me, but I feel a responsibility for Western. And so I want to make sure that when I leave here, that Western will continue for the next 50 and 100 years. So with that being said, my timeline is short. So I'm stepping down as dean on June 30th. I'm not retiring. I'm still going to be here, right? I'm still going to have my fingers in things. They've told me I can continue to do alumni relations, and Western is a project that they told me that I can keep doing. But my point being is that we're going to need to move. And so hopefully you will grill the bejeebies out of me while I'm here so that I can answer all of your questions. And then we need to find a way to rally together so that we can set up an endowment to lock Miami in. Not that I think that there's any chance that Miami doesn't support Western, but I'm a scientist. I like hard data, and I like to know that when the experiment is done, it's there and it's locked in and it's published. So I started this. I want to see it through to the end, and so I really need your help to see it through. So again, for those of you who are here, we talked about all the great things that Western has given Miami. We've talked about how we're going to do that. I think having a national leader come in and take the role going forward and having that position be something that is endowed and that will be here in perpetuity locks in. We've got the Western Center locked in, the funding for that, as you're going to hear. The Western women have done a phenomenal job raising money for their seminar series and support for the Western Center. Now what we need to do is lock in the support to ensure that we have a strong leader going forward, and we'll keep the program going. So they only gave me 10 minutes. I think I used my 10 minutes, but I'll be around answering questions and happy to talk to anyone who wants to.
Thank you. We thank you so much for those remarks. And as you all hear, that there's a place for you for this future, right? We need you all to be part of this. I should mention that I'm a class of 2001. I didn't mention that. And we are really excited because we are going to make this bridge between, and continue this bridge between the WCAA and the Western 3.0, 2.0, all of us alumni out here. And to do that, we're going to hear a little bit today from you all, from the WCAA. And one thing that you may not know is that in June of next year, 7th through 9th, they are having a big reunion. And it's going to be, I think, the last formal reunion. And we have always been invited to the reunion. And some of you maybe have come to it. You actually can stay on campus in the dorms. And I think it was pretty inexpensive last time I looked. And that will be something that hopefully we'll see you here next year in June of, yes, June, you all can do June, right? 7th or 9th, right? Because we want to show them how much we appreciate that Western legacy and how much we understand that we are a part of that as well. Because we couldn't be anywhere without the Western College for Women and that wonderful legacy. So today we have Sherry and Judy. Are you both coming up to speak, or?
We're not doing this.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say I got an arm here. I can help you up, but we'll be down here. So thank you so much for being here.
It absolutely warmed up.
Okay, guys.
We had a new role, cheerleader. We were even in the parade, homecoming parade with these. As you said, I'm Judy Henderson, class of 62. This is Sherry Addison, class of 61. But what is so amazing is Sherry only went to Western 1 year. And yet she felt a call to come back on the board of directors and has given her all. She's from Cincinnati. She knows so many people, and a lot of our success is due to the people in her life that she has journeyed with, and those relationships. And we will say that over and over and over again. It's the relationships that you build with one another and with people that you can tell your Western story to. It makes a difference. We're going to tell you our legacy journey. The first started back in 2014, and we did a fundraiser for our legacy. We thought it was going to be our only legacy, a legacy, and we put it at a goal of $350,000. How many of you have seen the legacy across from
The
Stone?
circle.
The legacy circle across from I do encourage you, because our history is on the back, chiseled into the back of that granite. So it was our legacy. We gave ourselves 24 to 36 months to raise that money, and it was completed in 12 months. It started with a gift from the Liggett family, and so that made our job a lot easier. 250,000 minus 100,000 is only 150,000 to raise from our constituency. But we did it.
And the Liggett's daughter was a flower girl in our wedding.
I said it's all about relationships. So then we thought, what are we going to do? So then we went to, we were informed that they wanted to tear down Patterson Place and put a 300-bed dormitory in there. And you all, your cars, you can imagine the response of our board. And so what we did something about it. And we had a campaign, and we involved the community. We involved the paper in Cincinnati. We involved the faculty at Miami. Anybody who didn't want to see those students lying in those hammocks in that greenbelt area as you come into town. It's just absolutely beautiful. It would have been a parking lot. So we had a campaign, and our goal was $250,000. At that point, not to save it, but it needed renovating. It had to come up to code standards. The shutters were literally falling off the frame of the upper part of the building. $250,000. One of our board members stepped up to the plate and took the challenge to lead that. And we received matching funds from Miami University. And with that help, in 1 year, the $250,000 was raised. You see the building now It's beautiful, and it's been painted. It's the red brick with the yellow trim, and it is ADA compliant. So then, we had a little more time, so what were we going to do with it? So this man by the name of Chris McRoth came to us with a concept. He's already told you our initial reaction to it. It's all in explaining. It was on a piece of paper. It was very clear to Chris, but it was not very clear to the board because we had been taught to think critically. We are liberal arts majors. So therefore, we asked the critical question. So it took a little bit of warming up on the relationship because the fear was that Miami was not going to take over the image of Western College, or this what we call the spirit of Western, which I can tell has been well infused into you. So he came with us. We agreed on the concept of the Western Center, but it was too much for our constituency to be able to handle in the fundraising aspect. So we decided that we would just take a piece of it. And the piece of it we took was the Western College seminars and have an opportunity to bring in the best speakers. This is why you need a directorship. We want to bring in more money to bring in national speakers of renown, which is going to lift up not only the Western program, the Western College spirit, but it is going to bring great value add to Miami University as a whole. You all agree with that? So our goal again was that magic number of 500,000, and we had 4 years left to raise that money. We completed that in 2 years.
We're good. We're all good.
So Western women love scholarships. Oh, the passion for scholarships is not underrated. And we, in 49 years, have given $11 million to 3,300 students. You have to realize that I'm old. And back when we were graduating, we graduated to positions of teachers and nurses and editors in book houses. So we did not have a lot of high level, high paying. We relied upon the matching grants of our very wealthy husbands, right? if we had a wealthy husband. And also, a lot of women, the scientists, went in and did lab work in the labs, and they were not the highest paying jobs. So when I say $11 million, that is a significant amount of money, and that's the passion for scholarships. So we did not want our legacy to end without tapping in on that. So we came up with the idea of a fund, an endowed fund for scholarships for experience-based learning. This allows money for men and women to tap in if they hear something at a seminar and they develop a passion. And let's face it, life is nothing if you don't have passion. So that they have a passion and that they can go and attend a conference. They can take an unpaid internship and apply for a scholarship and receive a stipend for that. So there are lots of ways that can be. I'm not going to limit how it can be done. It's the fund is there, and we had a goal to endow it for $25,000 to satiate the love of scholarships of our membership, and that goal was met very quickly. It was at $34,000, but we have a constituent that has a planned gift, which will bring that fund up to $120,000. So celebration or not, but isn't it nice to know that people are thinking about playing gifts in a very intentional way? So then, we thought we had seen the last of Chris.
It didn't work out.
But he came back to us.
It's like a bad seed.
Don't have to go out to breakfast with Chris. He took Sherry and myself out to breakfast and said, I have an idea. And that idea was for us to go to our board and recommend that we raise funds for a Western Center directorship. And this is back to looking at the bigger picture to assure the long-term future of the Western Center and allow us to go out and get a national search for a director, that one special person that does not yet know that they have a call to this very special place. So, we know, has a very big goal. We know the time is short, but in 5 months, we have already raised $261,000. So with that, sorry, I needed the paper to get the numbers right. So there are other funds that are part of the Western Center. We're not going to itemize them out, but I'm going to let Sherry tell you what the total amount of fundraising we have done since 2014. And I want to tell you something. They created on our board of directors an ad hoc committee, you know, like this ad hoc committee. We're off here somewhere. And I agreed to chair it because I had just finished a fundraising effort for a university in Africa. And I did it. But then I was interrupted with a brain bleed. And Sherry stepped up to the plate and took my place. And when I survived, my mind was I said, no, Sherry, we're going to co-chair the rest of the way together, and we have made a great team. They call us the Boxy Twins. So I'm going to let her give the total and to share what we want, the responsibility that we want to pass on to you.
The total, the grand total in that short period of time is $1,410,000. And it's still coming in. It's surprisingly coming in. A lot of people have endowments and family grants and so forth, and Debbie calls and she just got another bunch. So we've laid the groundwork. I will tell you another thing that we've done, I think hopefully will benefit you all as well. I think our relationship with Miami University is so strong. We're like a perfect marriage between ourselves and Miami. And it has blended so well, and there's nobody like Greg Crawford. And Greg loves Western. He loves the tradition. He comes over here to the circle for meditation. They love Western. So you have a tremendous support behind you, both of them. But as far as what we are looking at, our work is just about finished. We're happy to talk to you or advise or whatever. But looking back at it, we realize that it required a lot of communication. Judy and I are big thank you note writers. So when this money comes in, Debbie gives us an opportunity to send personal handwritten thank you notes on Western Stationery. You would be surprised how many people respond. You had a big response from somebody, from international, just because she sent a thank you note. So it makes a big difference. And to express your thank yous often. Then you need leadership. They're passionate, and a lot of you are obviously passionate. If you're not, you should be, because this is a fantastic organization. And positive response is contagious. So if you can talk to your fellow alums and send notes and get them back for reunion. And I guarantee you, June of 2024 is going to be a great reunion to attend because that's our hurrah. And it's going to be fun. And last of not least, we have, I guess we have it for Mark. We have a baton to pass. To WAAMU, October 28th, 2023. Did you get that date?
I know my time is up, but I just want to reinforce, given that Judy and Sherry were talking about money, I want to reinforce that how supportive the university is for this idea. So the way the agreement is set up, that undesignated money, gifts coming into the Western Women's College goes directly into the Miami coffers. They can do whatever they want with it. There was a bequest that came in for over $200,000. I went to Crawford and Kramer and said, can we use that money as seed money for to endow the Western Director position? The whole thing, not just the center, but the Western Director, Individualized Studies, and they said yes. Right? They could have used that money for anything.
Yep.
And we know that there are financial issues going on. They believe in what you are doing, and they gave us the money. Now, it didn't hurt that I've got a couple of pretty persuasive ladies that I went over there and talked to them. But still, I think that shows the university's support. So I just wanted to interject that.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. And we will be tonight at dinner. We will be talking about some of the memorials that we're working on fundraising for. We're looking at a Mary Lyon Memorial for those of you who had experiences there. We also, a award memorial that we're working on. And we have some other visions, but this is also your vision. So this is why we need you to be part of WAAMU. That's the organization we're in. We're all part of that, right? Moving forward. And one thing that's really amazing about WAAMU too is it also includes Friends of Western, so that anyone who graduated from Miami University, anyone who took classes at Western, we'll include your spouses in there. That's great. We just want everyone to be a part of WAAMU and WCAA members as well. We want you to also be included in WAAMU. So we've heard a little bit about the fundraising, but what about the students, right? Like what's happening today? And so we're fortunate to have Nick Money, who's the program director and the senior project instructor here at Western, who's going to tell you a little bit about what's happening today.
Great, thank you, Mark. I agree with everything my boss, Chris Makaroff, says. Truthfully, I mean, we're going to be entering a new phase, a new era in Western's development in the next few years. And maybe some of the details need figuring out, and some of that will involve conversations with you. But I think it's really important, too, to think about where we've been. We have to have a foundation on which to build a different kind of new academic program at Miami. And so my role has been in the last 10 years to develop the individualized studies major, working with my friend and colleague Jackie in the development of the Western Center. I've got too many slides here. I'm not going to use them. I'm going to use probably 2 slides to just show you a little bit about where we've come over the last decade. And for those of you that need a refresher, sorry to bring this up, but here's the history of this. You want me on the stage or? Good now.
Wherever you want.
Good now. I'll go up on the stage. Chris went on the stage, so I'll go on the stage. So the individualized studies major, the new Western program was developed, or was in the developmental phase then 2008 to 2010. We started working with our first small cohort of students in 2010, and that's when I became program director. I'm a professor of biology here at Miami, but this has become the love of my intellectual life, my academic career here over the last many years. I've been at Miami for 27 years now. 2010, 2020, the first decade of Western as the home of the individualized studies major. 2019, 2020, we developed and launched the Western Center, and they're very intimately connected. I want to tell you a little bit about what we're doing with the students. Some of you, I hope, many of you came to that session yesterday and met some of our majors. I think we had half a dozen of our seniors that are working on their senior projects. This is the best that Miami or any program has to offer. These students are the best selling point for what we've done in Western over the last few years. And indeed, they will show you the kind of foundation on which we can build as the program grows going forward. Mission statement, we don't have enough time for that. Miami is actually rewriting its mission statement, which is interesting. We're in a phase of actually, there's a committee that's looking at this. I wrote our mission statement 10 years ago, and actually Miami stole some of the language from that. Eloquent. The slides will be available so you can read it, but it'll change. But that's emblematic of the way that things are changing, but also of the way that things have changed. Some of you are the parents of relatively young children, young adults. But for those of us that are not, things have changed. We're dealing with a wholly different, demographic today with our students. They suffered through COVID. They lived through COVID. We taught during COVID online for 3 semesters in my case. And yet the students have emerged from this absolutely unscathed would be stupid. I mean, I'm not a psychologist, but they're doing really well, and they're not dwelling on that time when they were in high school. So what do we do? I'm going to give you some numbers, show you what the curriculum is, and that's all from me really here this morning. Students are integrating multiple interests into their plan of study. We've got a great advising system here. Many of you spoke with Zach Hill yesterday. He's one of the best advisors on campus. We provide some of that small college experience on a larger campus, and a lot of that's coming through the Western Center. You can go down there any afternoon during the week, and it's buzzing with students, both from the individualized studies major, but also students from across campus. Billy cooks breakfast down there on Tuesday mornings. I mean, it really is a great center. It's a place where students study. There's a movie club. I'm just indicating here, I hope that there's some of the ethos, some of that experience that you had as students, as community members, that we have retained, even in this very, very different university environment. Year-long senior project. I got 24 students in the senior project class right now. I'm a biologist. I think only one of them is a biologist, so I'm working with students with an incredible range of interests, and I just help them structure their projects. And what was the biggest class? We had a 33, 34 student graduating class a couple of years ago. We got generous financial support through existing endowments then for study abroad and independent research. We'd always like more money to support those projects. And we've got an established track record of undergraduate success. I mean, our students have done really well in the job market, as you did. You didn't get degrees in psychology. You didn't perhaps start off thinking you were going to be attorneys or captains of industry, but that's where you ended up. And that's what our students are doing. We have students that are in the military. We've got a student that came here. What am I going to do with my future? He actually runs a small fishing fleet out of Massachusetts. He's a swordfish fisherman. Unbelievable. But he structured his senior project was a business plan to make this work. I mean, the list. If we talk individually, I'll give you that. Give you some more flavor of that. I mean, we had a student that's flying one of the few Navy pilots, female Navy pilots, that's flying AWACS, submarine detection. It's just. This is from Western in the last 10 years. We've had some extraordinary students. Here's the numbers on this is all about retirement portfolios, right? For those of us, we wish it was a hockey stick, but 2 minutes to go. Jackie says I've only got 2 slides. So number of majors right now. I honestly think we're beneficiaries in a sense of COVID. We've had a lot more students coming to us since they sort of were shut down, looking for community, looking for something different, looking to build their own plans of study, and that's where we rock. So we've got over 80 majors right now. That's an amazing position for us to be in. If things keep going on this trajectory, we could be at 100 by the end of next semester. Okay. Every year I've been in this job and I've worked with 3 different deans. They've always said, well, there's no bar, there's no metric, but it keeps, I tell you, the goalposts keep widening. So I don't know what they'll be. But in the future, you know, with the hiring of a new program director, somebody that will oversee the intellectual program, the major, and the Western Center, maybe that person can really transform this into something very, very different, much larger, with greater impact. That would be something I'd love to see. Last slide here. Lovely students here, showing that there's community, good vibe there. You'll be provided with these slides so you can look at them. A couple of people asked me last night, what do you actually do in the program in terms of your course content? We have 19 required credit hours that all of our students in the major, I'm sorry for being buzzing around with the camera. 19 required credit hours in the major right now. So these are core classes that Jackie and I and our other instructors teach. All of our students take these classes. On the left, those courses build toward this senior project experience. Hopefully when they get there, they're already accomplished in actually doing some research on their own and designing projects, and their writing skills are hopefully stellar. And this is the crowning glory of the Western degree and the senior project, because it's part of their professional portfolio that they take with them into the job market, they use when they interview for graduate school, and they see the value of this, or at least they do by the time they've completed it. Individualized coursework, it's first semester, most of them are doing really well at the moment. Individualized coursework, we provide them with a plan of study that they play a big role in developing that, bringing in classes from different areas of different departments on campus, really to support their senior project. But they meet all of the College of Arts and Science requirements. So this is the way it is right now, but Chris and I have talked about this and the way that we can look at this differently. We can think outside the box and change this. Maybe we need some different requirements. The senior project isn't going anywhere, hopefully. That seems to be something that's so important. We get honors students that will come to us because we can provide that senior project experience. Some of these other classes, I think we're open to thinking about ways that those might change. New director coming in can certainly have a role in looking at that core curriculum. Is there anything else that I have to say? I'll leave you with this. What do we want to do? We need to grow the number of majors from multiple entry points. We do get students, you met some of them yesterday, that came in as freshmen to the Western program. Many of our students find us later on and come to us in their later in their freshman year or sophomore year. That's how we get to 80 majors. Yes, I know that many of you have been very passionate about recruiting students straight from high school. Perhaps. Let's see how that can be developed in the future. That's probably something that I haven't been successful at doing over the last 10 years. I've built the major, but I haven't been bringing in lots and lots of students straight from high school. Collaboration with the Western Center. Last thing some of you asked too, how is it getting on? How are we getting on with honors, sharing this building? That's a really good relationship. We have a great relationship with the honors director, Zeb, and his staff. That's going well. A number of our majors are actually honors majors. I think that's actually worked. And we actually share resources too, and financial resources in putting on things like Westfest that you might mention. New faculty hires, that's it. In 5 years, you'll come back and it'll be a completely different program, and bigger and better in all ways. Thank you.
so much. And one of the things Nick said was maybe, we're going to do this, right? We're going to do this all together. One of the things that I had an opportunity to do last year was I have a book. It's called Steal the Street. It's a collection of articles about gentrification and homelessness in Cincinnati. And we came here and the alumni had me do a lecture here and I worked with the students and I got to see the Western Center in action. I had to, eat, I didn't have to, but I was able to eat breakfast with them, with lunch downstairs in what used to be Cisco for us down there. And really seeing that the core, the soul of Western, that spirit of Western is still alive today in the students. And we're fortunate today to have Jackie, who's going to talk to us. Jackie is a faculty member here at Western, but also the director of the Western Center, and has been really helping shape the students and their trajectories through so many years. And I work with students through the Miami University Center for Community Engagement, which is down and over the Rhine in Cincinnati, and also for the Social Innovation Weekend, which is something you all can get involved with, which is like a cross-campus, thing. And we always have students that are just like, Miami, I don't know. And I say, go talk to Jackie. And then they come over here to Western and they say, okay, thank you, Dr. Mark, for sending me over here. So let's give it up for Jackie for all her great work.
All right, thank you all for coming. Welcome back to Western and Peabody. We are so excited to have you. I'm just going to tell you a little bit today from my role as the director of the Western Center for Social Impact and Innovation, but I also serve as a core faculty member in individualized studies. Billy and I, we both run the Western Center together. We'll be downstairs in the center directly after this and all day till 3:30 if you want to swing by and learn more about what we do. It's hard to cram this into a few minutes. This is our mission. It's pretty broad. So it gives us a lot of leeway to continue the legacy of Western and to offer students outside of the major as well as inside of the major an opportunity to connect with Western. Low-key, we also use the center as an individualized studies recruitment tool, and it has been very successful so far. But you don't have to be a part of the major to engage. The important thing here is that we are Miami's interdisciplinary hub for student engagement with issues of social impact and justice. And we take not only a national perspective, but also a global perspective. And the generous support from the Western women for the Western College Legacy Seminar Series has really allowed us to bump that global mission up. We also, of course, honor that rich history of activism going forward. Last year, every year since we've opened in the fall of 2019, we have had a participant increase, but last year, post-pandemic, we really hit that. I don't know if we can continue to promise it at 1,000 more than typical, but we will certainly give it a hell of a try. But we had 1,000 person, that's individual, unique individuals coming into the Western Center, participating with programming that we hold across campus. Last year, we had over 4,000 folks involved with us last year. This is a very, comparatively small major. The center certainly runs with the major in terms of the programming, staff, and resources, and the building in Peabody. So I think that this is particularly impressive. If you want to see more of our annual report, we do one every year for the center's programming to give you an idea of scope and scale of operations. Some of you picked those up outside already at the table, but we will also have them hard copy available in the Western Center today for you. We hold a number of different types of programming at the Western Center. One of our priorities is community building. The individualized studies major looks a little different. We're pulling people from around campus. They can take courses in whatever order they need in terms of the core major courses. So the Western Center really serves as a place that community happens. They have senior dinner on Tuesdays down there for those folks that are coming in from the Capstone Project. We hold weekly events that our student employees, most of whom are Western majors, help us to develop over the course of the semester. Tea and conversation. We get anywhere between 25 to 35 folks who want to drink tea with old faculty. Myself included, no offense, Nick. And who just want to come down and talk and connect with each other and us. We have Classic Movie Friday. Some of you saw that in action earlier yesterday. We have a number of events that are also kind of one time off each semester. We have Zero Waste Pumpkin Carving. Over at the Western Lodge, we hosted 120 folks. We expected 70. This last year, we just had it last week. We also had a haunted house in Peabody up on the 4th floor. Altogether, that Fall Fest event in one evening brought 500 students out through the Western Center in a collaboration with the Honors College and Res Life. So we're really doing as much as we can, I think, to engage folks at a moment historically when students want that connection again. And Western, I think, is best positioned on campus to do it, although I'm a little biased. We also take advantage of the generous support from alumni to provide as many experience-based and research learning opportunities as we can for students. These were just a few from last year. Many of you met Brian there in the middle last night. He's got this art piece, the student body, made from trash, picked up all over campus. And he's got a number of other pieces on exhibit up at the Miami University Art Museum if you want to head up there today. He started out working on that project with experience-based learning fund funding from the WCAA. And every year we provide about 7 summer research and creative scholarships for folks through that. We have a great partnership with the Nature Preschool in Cincinnati that my service learning class every year applies for a grant for. Last year, we were awarded $20,000, that small group that worked on the grant of undergraduate Western majors, for a tuition-free summer camp that would work to serve the diverse low SES and BIPOC kids in the community that typically don't have access to private preschool in Cincinnati. And we have a great partnership with Cincinnati Gamble Montessori High School. Another place we recruit from is the American Montessori Association. We send out emails to their student counselors every year because those folks are already used to project-based learning, which is what we're really good at in Western. But we went there, we taught some sexuality education. I always get a stream of folks because that's my area of expertise that want to come and study with me. And we did some programming there through the Western Center. So those are just a couple of examples of how we're constantly trying to get students off campus to connect in the community. At the center, some of our programming is thematic, and we organize that around a biennial theme. Past themes have included water access and policy. The last 2 years, we worked on reparations and brought some amazing legacy seminar speakers for that. And this year, for the next 2 years, we'll be working on democracy and transformation. Timely, both given kind of where we are nationally in terms of fairly divisive politics, and helping students to think through the complexity of that and continue to dialogue with each other on it. But also relevant because what is coming up next year in Western's history? The 60th anniversary of Freedom Summer. So we are running concurrent programming around that at the Western Center as well. Couple of examples, and you can use that QR code to see recordings from past seminar talks at the Western Center. But we will be bringing Camille Wimbish, who's a civil rights attorney, who has a Miami alumni connection. Her grandmother, Sybil Harris Miller, Miami alum, not Western, but close Western friend, actually went down with students a year past Freedom Summer to sign up voters in Mississippi. And has just had this incredible trajectory in the community with the League of Women Voters, and her granddaughter is going to come back and speak with us from her new inaugural position of essentially an election protection lawyer with the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights. That'll be February 13th. We'll have a live stream available there as well. And then Dr. Craig Calhoun, who before he was in his current position at Arizona State University, was the director of politics at the London School of Economics. He co-wrote this book most recently in 2022, Degenerations of Democracy, with 2 international scholars, and we'll certainly be bringing that perspective about what's happening with democracy around the world. How does climate change fit into it and our response? We're always have students interested in that area, and what needs to be done to strengthen it. And perhaps save it around the world. So we are very much looking forward to these folks coming up in the spring, which is typically when our Legacy Seminar happens. We're also collaborating with a number of folks on and off campus, including the Menard Family Center for Democracy, the Wilk Institute for Leadership, and the Oxford Citizens for Justice and Peace on a number of other programming next semester. And couldn't do this without my incredible colleague, Billy Sims, also an instructor in the Western program. You've seen him today out at the table. We will be downstairs if you want to talk more one-on-one about what we do at the Western Center, or sign us up to follow us and maybe get some merch. We'll also have snacks and waters downstairs if you need a break from the day's full activity agenda for the reunion. That's all I have.
So hopefully you have seen how you can be a part of this. You know, you can be a part of the themes that the center is doing. You can be a part of the giving, right? Because this is something that we really need to do and focus on to make sure that Western, the legacy lives on. And we have a lot to do today. And one thing I'm excited about, can I just say, I have never been in Patterson Place. Has anyone also never been in Patterson Place? Okay, so do you know tonight there's going to be a party in Patterson Place? So I'm really excited to be in that space tonight. And Audrey's going to talk a little bit about what's coming up next. There's a lot going on today. I will have copies of my books to sell in the lodge later. And you can Venmo me, it's all right. And we have a lot going on coming up, and we're really excited. So thank you all so much. And let us know a little bit.
Yeah, I am gonna though say, I know we are running short on, like, we're overtime, let's be real. But are there any questions that is, like, people are burning to ask? I know that, okay, we have at least one. I know Chris will be here later today at dinner, I believe, right? I know you ladies are gonna be leaving shortly after this. So if we have questions, and then Nick and Jackie will be at dinner tonight as well, just to give you guys, so if you wanna talk to them. But if you have any questions, I saw one hand up. Yes,
I'm sorry, I have a math question.
a math, okay.
For the ladies, what was the average graduating class for the Western College for Women?
Size?
Yes,
You were 60, Mona.
60, okay. But that answers my question, because I was curious about whether there was an imbalance in the graduating classes if you're gonna be fundraising. I think our graduating class may have been about 40, so if it's the same universe of bodies, if you will.
Yes.
Yes.
I like that you're thinking about fundraising.
Yeah. Dollars.
Are we gonna see Greg Crawford anywhere?
So we think that Greg is gonna hopefully stop by around dinner time. He had a conflict with this time schedule right now, but he's all over campus. But I know Liz Mullinex wanted to be here. She's out of town, but my sense is from talking to Greg's handler is that he is definitely planning on swinging by and saying hello. I don't think it will be in a big formal setting. It will be more of a Greg Crawford style, blow in like a tornado and talk and back out the door. So,
Chris, what you mentioned the endowed directorship. What's the price tag?
so our goal is $2.5 million. And the way we're setting it up, my thought is that it's going to be called the Western Center Director. It's not going to be named after some family or whatever, but people can set up individual funds that would then fund into a master expendable account that would fund it. So we could end up with 50 or 100 different funds that would go to support the Western Director position.
But if someone has $2.5 million,
But
can we name it after them?
No.
Okay,
No, that was the point, because there are so many people and things that are important to both the Western women and the Western College that I wanted to unite it. And so in this way, putting someone's name on there would not be what we want with this community.
Which is what Western.
So if you haven't, if you still can get it, I'm reading the Western College for Women history. It's from 1853 to 1969, and halfway through. So I know that in their first 50 years, they graduated 3,000 women. I'm wondering, how many has, since the first class came in 74, how many have we graduated?
I don't, we could get that number. I don't have that number.
Yeah. Our guess is that we're somewhere around 3,500, I think. The challenge is.
Wait, since the first class?
Because I think it was 50, it was averaging between 50 every class, so 50, 2,500. What did I say?
35.
I think it was 2,500. I had the number at some point. The challenge is we only have about contacts and relationships with about 1,800 of those people.
So you might want to sign up so you can be looped in. So
Yeah.
I mean, part of the problem we're facing with the ladies, right, is that many of them graduated a long time ago. So Sherry, maybe you know the number. There's 1,600 living Western women still around.
Yeah.
The fundraisers always have the last word. $5,000 to do a Mary Lyon plaque to memorialize that area. It'll be like a boulder with a brass plate on it. We think it's very important. It went by the wayside because it was deemed structurally unsound, so they couldn't just go in there and beef it up. It had to go. We want it to be remembered, but we need your help. We had other more pressing things doing. So we invited you to split the cost. We have already set aside $2,500 for that plaque. My wish, my hope, my charge to you is that before this weekend is over, enough of you will come up with a plate and have $2,500, because it is important for us to have that in place by our reunion in June. So unless we get that money now, we won't have the time to put that in place. So you all clap in accordance with that?
She's stealing Okay, I'm sorry. I just 1,800, I believe, is the number of graduates that WCP had.
How many?
Around 1,800. I think, if I'm doing my math right, and if I'm thinking of my records, but I don't know. I could be, making up statistics. I want to give a rundown of a couple of things that we're doing after this. If there are no more, someone had a hand up. Did one more person have a hand up? No? Okay, we got all the questions? Okay. So right after this, we need to make people jealous and want to get them back here in June. So after this, we're all going to go to the Peabody Steps and we're going to take a reunion photo. Okay? It's very important. Go from here. Don't get distracted. Lock blinders. Walk to the stairs because JJ is giving a few extra minutes to us so that we can take that photo. And we're going to send out a postcard to everybody saying, "Come back to Western 2024, June 2024." So that is the first thing, most important thing. Well, not most important thing, but important thing. After that, we have lunch. Board meeting is having an open board meeting, kind of like come talk to us, tell us what you want to see, what you want to do, etc. Downstairs at 12:30 to 1. Class meetings are 12:30 until 2. Downstairs in the classroom, take your box lunch, hang out. At 2 o'clock, Western Lodge will be open for what we're calling open mic talent marketplace share. So if you want to just come talk about what you're doing, sell your books, have anything that you have, whatever you think of. Western has always been creative in that sense. Patterson Place is open for drinks tonight and breakfast tomorrow morning.
Don't forget about dinner, Travis.
Dinner is at Shriver, followed by drinks at Patterson Place, and that's at 6 o'clock. And what was I going to say? Mugs. We all have we have green Western mugs out in the parlor. Pick them up, take them, please. I have more than what's out there. So if we run out, but take those with you. Those are your takeaways. And then we have a few board members have these little takeaways as well. These are very basic, but this is how you get engaged. And if you scan this QR code, it's going to, I can start passing them out here. If you scan this QR code, and board members will be around for your class meetings to show them too. But on our homepage, there is a support WAAMU button. You click that. We have 4 funds that you can donate to. We have the WAAMU fund, which we have $800 in. We want $1,700 more dollars in by the end of this weekend to pay for that Mary Lyons plaque. So I think we can do it. I think that's like maybe $10 per person. So do that between now and dinner, and that would be great. Don't wait till you get home and forget about it. But we also have linked there scholarships for the experiment-based scholarships. We have the center fund in there and the directorship fund. So those are the 4 that the WAAMU board up to this point have been kind of pushing out there to our constituents. I think that those things might shift a little bit, but the directorship and the WAAMU fund are really our most important right now. We want to step up and show the women that we too can give $2,500 to a plaque. We can do it. We can do it in a day. So there's that, and there's also ways of getting involved with the board, Miami or alumni link to get involved with the students, and those kind of things. So there's that. Anything that I'm missing?
Well, WAAMU is all about community fun. It's not just about fundraising, but we do need to do the fundraising. And so we're really encouraging you all to come out, take the picture with us, make sure that the folks who couldn't make it today, for whatever reason, they can come in June. We will be back for another 5-year reunion in 5 years, right? So we know that. But as I said, the WCAA is closing out in June. So we want to make sure that we're there to support them in every way that we can, because they've supported us and they continue to support the program and the students today, which is, amazing to me. So.
And they've literally passed us a baton, so we have a very real point. Yes. Oh, yes. Who's going on the tour?
There's an architecture walking tour tomorrow, 10:30 with.
It's a Western college history. We changed it because Dean Ellison is doing it. So we're meeting. How many? You want me to count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A lot more than my 20 predicted. But I think there's probably about 30, 35. If I know my estimate, 35 people, maybe 35. He'll have a handout, and we're meeting, and that's at Patterson Place at 10:30. Thank you. Front porch, 10:30.
And then afterwards, the closeout, we will sing "Will the Circle Be Unbroken" in true Western style, right?
Yes. And no one will know the words, no one will have to look them up. And and that's at 11:30 at Kumler Chapel. So thank you so much for everyone for being here. Lunch is in the parlors and class meetings downstairs.
To the porch.
Oh, to the porch.